we've learned how to create our own report in a message box format, but let's say you wanted to actually do a report that somebody could print out and show someone else. Well, it's really essentially the same stuff, but you have to plan it out a little bit because you have to plan out what your report sheet is going to look like. You may want to copy some of these columns, for example. Let's Control C and let's create a new sheet, sheet 3 right here over on the edge. And then let's paste those columns. Whoop, I need to go back here. Control C, sheet 3, paste. Okay? And I will double click on there to let's auto size the columns a little bit like that. There we go. So now we're ready. We know that on our sheet 3, we should probably double click on that and give it a report name. How about my RPT? It's a little, non-specific, but I don't know what you're going to want your reports for. So this is called my RPT. Now we have the name, we have the title, we have the date, we have the sale amount. Let's say that for your report's sake, you only wanted the name and the sale amount. So let's delete these two columns, and now we have column 1, column 2. Let's go back to sheet 1, and I'm going to rename that by double clicking. I'm going to rename it data, and I'm going to hit enter. So now we have our data. We know that we're going to go from 2 to 11 dynamically using the last row, so we're really on our way. Alt F11. So instead of my first report, we're going to copy and paste that into a new macro, and we're going to call it my printable report. My printable report. So, in my printable report, instead of using an input, well, we may use an input box, that's actually fine. But instead of using putting all this into a message box, we're actually going to put it into another sheet. So again, planning ahead. We have row X, which is the row on our current sheet, which is on the sheet called data. Now we need another row, a variable, that will tell us what row we're on our other sheet, the sheet called my report. So we're going to just use Y, the variable Y for that. You can use any letter or any combination of letters that you want. I just happen to use Y because it's what I'm used to. So Y is going to equal to 1. That's going to be our starting row. I'm going to make a note of that. Starting row. Okay. So now that we know that Y is 2, we can increment that automatically by saying Y is equal to Y plus 1. Y is equal to whatever itself is plus 1. So the next time we see Y, it will be 3. So very simply, let's go ahead and declare our other sheet. So let's go to the very top. Now, I don't always declare my variables, but I do whenever I'm working with sheets, and I'm going to summarize them. So this is an important lesson to learn, is summarizing the sheets. We're going to declare, how about D sheet as a worksheet. Hit enter. And we're going to declare RPT sheet as another worksheet. Now we're going to set them. So set D sheet, we're going to give it the actual value. This is going to be this workbook dot sheets, and we're going to put a parentheses quote, and we're going to say data, end quote, in parentheses. That tells us that we're not going to use a different workbook that we may have open. We're going to use this workbook, and specifically the sheet called data. And that is, we're going to set that to be called D sheet, and we're going to use that as an abbreviation to actually reference this sheet. We're going to do that again for the other one. So we're going to set RPT sheet equal to this workbook dot sheets parentheses, and this one's called my RPT. You don't have to capitalize it the same way that you actually did in the worksheet. And so now we're going to be able to use this variable and this variable to equal these respective sheets. And in the next video, we're going to show you how we're going to get that information on the other sheet as we go along if it meets our criteria using the row Y.